Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whatever time you're watching this. I much appreciate it. I had a query because today is my mama's birthday, and we were also talking about birthdays at the dinner table. And I made a joke that I am getting old and I am one foot step in the grave, as one does when you're turning 25 this year. And it made me thinking, like, do people, like, is it common for people to remember their family member's death date? Because my dad passed away and I don't remember his death date. Is it like, do people remember that and, like, I don't want to say celebrate it, but, like, do they have things they do that day? I don't know. I'm sure yes, but I wonder, like, how common is it? Is it, like, more common? Am I the denominator here? Or, like, the outlier, I mean? I don't know. Anyway, the build we're using today is Carcel's Mach 2 pickaxe with Maniac damage, melee damage, Slaughterer, and Head Taker, with the Faux Ren Mach 2 Ripper Gun with reload speed, infest enemy damage with the Flechette and Cavalcade, and then we have Furious, Smash 'em, Heavyweight, Best Defense, Big Friendly Rock, Slam, Indomitable, Stomping Boots, Pulverize, Crunch, Batter, Bonebreaker's Aura, Get Stuck In, Bruiser, Unstoppable Momentum, and we have Delight and Destruction, Dominate, Implacable, Heavy Hitter, Just Getting Started, and Unstoppable. That's the build. Let's get into a game, shall we? Oh boy. I saw some jokes finally coming around towards the end of January here that this January has been the longest January of my lifetime, and now I can think of a few reasons for that, but it really just was a long January. Either nothing happened or, like, everything that did happen was just like, wow. At least in the States. Obviously in other countries time flows differently. It's just like either everything that happened was like just you couldn't just zoom by it, or nothing happened to the point of absurdity. And then these past few days, oh my god, we had, I think yesterday, the day before, military helicopter crashed into a civilian passenger plane. One of the first passenger plane crashes we've had in like 16 some years. I think that was the number. Maybe 16 might be wrong, but in quite an extended period of time. And then, apparently what happened to that was, so the passenger plane, the pilot and everything was doing right. They were on a safe descent, normal descent, to get everyone home safely. But the helicopter that had crashed into it was definitely the one at fault, because he was like a few hundred yards ahead of where he was supposed to be. He was flying too high. And and somehow he didn't see the giant fucking passenger plane coming towards him. It was just well and truly insane. And then today, maybe not today, it might have been last night, a plane, not a passenger plane, I think just a smaller plane, crashed into the Roosevelt Mall, or like Roosevelt Strip in Philadelphia. And sent a big fucking fireball. Like, it's gonna, like, as soon as I saw it, in my head I was like, I immediately was like, holy fuck, this is, like, awful. But then, like, as I see it more and more throughout the day, I'm like, this is Conspiracy Theory 101. This looks like a fucking, like, missile. That's how big the fireball was. Okay, I'll just miss, that's fine. It was just like, and guess what? It didn't even take like 2 days for me to start seeing like accusations of it being an intercontinental ballistic missile. If it was a ballistic missile, why the fuck would it hit a random mall or like strip or road in random section of Philadelphia? Ow. If they can get a missile into America, would they not just send it at the White House? Come on, conspiracy gang. What do you think's in Philadelphia, huh? Yeah, it's insane. And forgive me for mentioning politics, but there, who did gut the FFA or FC, whatever it's called, essentially just gutted a bunch of air safety programs. And I don't even think we have a deputy of transportation or department of transportation lead right now. I think we have an acting one, because obviously the horrible tragedy that happened. But really, it was just like I don't say perfect as in like good. It's like it was literally like a perfect disaster waiting to happen. Anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, like I'm, you know, I probably would avoid planes for a while if you can. Simply because, you know, once is a tragedy, two is a forming of a pattern, right? Or I guess it's probably like once is a tragedy, two is a coincidence, three is a pattern. But you know, with plane crashes, you know, I probably wouldn't fuck around like that. But yeah, it was insane. It was like the fireball, like it's so. My little Ogryn legs. Oh my god, I have hiccups. I think I ate my meal too fast. Whew. Anything else happen? Monster Hunter's coming out this month, which is pretty cool. It's finally no longer January. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, another sad thing that happened. This is now personal and less on a national scale. My frickin' speaker, I think, died. Like, died. Like, it won't turn on, died. It's like, no! My speaker for my car. Can I hit a rock today, or is the answer no? The answer's no. What? You know what? I'm not throwing a rock for the rest of the day. So I've got a, you might have seen it on my YouTube community post, or if you're in our Discord, you saw it in the Discord. I got a Katachan pinup girl pinup, like in the theme of a pinup. So it was, you know how like on essentially what you would see on the side of planes and like World War II and stuff. Essentially the equivalent of that, of a big Katachan lady on a big old heavy bolter. And I did get a Tau pinup a while ago as well, so I think I'm just going to be a trend where I'm going to get a pinup of every race, or almost every race in the 40k universe. Now, the hardest is going to get a pinup of orcs, because I feel like that one's just going to inherently got to be goofy. Because I don't want to just get like, oh, it's a sexy green lady orc, because like, you know, orcs are British. Ah! What? Oh no, I wasn't saved by Mike. I was saved by Micaiah. We're good. You know, I think I'll just... No, there's a heal station ahead. I don't need to use it. Where was I? That dog shut my brain off. Oh, no, I got nothing. Oh, pinups, right. So, and honestly, the Tyranid one is going to be interesting. Because it's like, do I want to get a Gene Stealer Cult one and just say that's the Tyranid one? Or, all I'm saying is the Neuralictor. You know, it's a little sexy, right? Not crazy to say? Yeah, the next one I'm probably going to get is either Eldar, be it Dark or Light, or Chaos. And now you may be saying, oh, if you're doing Chaos, you can do Slaanesh. No, I plan on doing Khorne. Because, like, Slaanesh would just be too easy. I could also see myself doing Siege. I don't want to do Nurgle, because that's a little nasty, I'm not going to lie. Ooh. I was thinking of taking it, but my allies needed more. Whew. Been playing Monster Hunter World, obviously. I did upload a video. And man, so it's fun. Its World is, I do like Rise more than World, Rise and Sunbreak more than World, but I think World offers more, at least to me, to a longtime Monster Hunter fan, World offers me more replayability, I think because it is more of that, it is closer to the classic style of Monster Hunter, where Rise is actually a lot more arcadey. It was like, so Monster Hunter used to do, they'd have your mainline games, which were like your atypical stuff. Then they'd have a sideline game or whatever, like a mobile style game of the, essentially for like, or like portable team, which would do like the sideline games, like not 3U, third. Oh man, what was it? There was one on the PSP where they introduced an ogre, like that was a portable one. And then, like, obviously Generations was, like, from 4U to Generations, obviously 4U was mainline, Generations was portable, even though all these weren't portable devices, but you know what I'm saying. That was, like, the designation the team had. And then Rise, World was more of your mainline game, and then Rise is a lot more of a more arcadey style portable game, right? Because obviously it's a lot faster, it's a lot less boots on the ground style of Monster Hunter, which is, like, my preferred style, although I do think World has a lot of issues that, and Rise and / Sunbreak I think are just better games. World has more replayability for me, especially because World is going to be a lot closer to Wilds than Monster Hunter Rise or Sunbreak is, so it's best to like replay that to get back into Monster Hunter boots rather than anything else. Plus, you know, as much as I love Sunbreak, it doesn't have Fatalis. Speaking of Fatalis, I finally beat Elatrion officially for the first time, since I'd only beat the weak version to get to Fatalis. And this is after Twitter's been trying to feed me Elatrion propaganda, saying it's one of the best designed fights Monster Hunter's ever had. It's even after beating it, it still isn't. Although I will say the fight is more fun than I remembered, but I still think it's like, it's fun, but I'm like, this sucks. Because like, once you know all the mechanics, it's like bearable, but they're terrible at explaining the mechanics. They don't tell you that Latrion's legs take more elemental damage. They don't tell you that if you break the horns in ice form, it can't switch to fire form and vice versa, or other way around. Like, you know, it doesn't tell you like how the horn breaking works. Like, it does kind of, but not really. And then like the Eschaton Judgment, I think is a fine move. It's just adding a DPS check. I think like, even like, think about it, had the other mechanics of the game been better, Elatrion would have been more appealing. But Elatrion's fight suffers from the fact that one, Worlds is a heavy crit based game. They really wanted you to take crit. Right, because you could get like a ton of affinity like really easily. You get, you know, crit boost, and obviously with the tenderizing mechanic. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, we don't want everyone using crit all the time, so they introduce Elatrion, who you cannot beat with raw damage, right? It's not it's like, no, if you're not using elemental damage of like, you know, you're Dunzo. Which is like a fine mechanic to have an elemental based monster, but when you do nothing to make element really that good, it's just like, cool, you've made element useful for this one fight, and then after that we're going to swap back to normal damage. I think Rise did a lot better, because obviously you can't get crit I7. And Rise also just had way more build variety in terms of like stuff you wanted to do. If you wanted to do like crit element, yeah, you absolutely could. It was like, if you want to do raw AD, you absolutely could. If you want to do normal crit, you absolutely could. So hopefully Wilds takes a page from... I think Wilds is going to take a page from Rise's book in that sense, because the lead director of Rise was talking about Worlds, and he said, yeah, Worlds kind of made me sad because of the decoration system and some other systems. I finished the game without having my full desired build. And it's like, yeah, like, you and me can farm Monster Hunter all day, every day. We got that ability. But obviously, when, you know, a more casual player definitely does not have that ability, right? Especially when so much is based on, like luck, right? Which I'm not saying take the RNG elements out of Monster Hunter, right? I think RNG elements are sort of like part of the fun, right? Because it's like it incentivizes you to hunt a monster. Like, you know, the amount of time. Like, I have a friend, my artist. She hunted like she was going for like Zinogre or something in Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter Generations or something. And she had to hunt like 34 of them before she got her drop. Now that's a little insane. Obviously, her luck is like horrible. That's sort of unrelated. But that, like, you know, that like not getting your thing for a certain amount of play and then finally getting it, it's like the most satisfying feeling in the world. So hopefully they may just make it like more build. Like, that was essentially this whole point boils down to the issue that there was almost no build variety in World. Even now, like, the optimal builds are like, oh, run Fatalis, run, you know, oh, you got some, you can either go Coalescence or you can go this other thing. Well, cease your activities, would you? Alrighty.
Hey, comrades! Help the soldier out!
They're stuck in the wall. They can be stuck in the wall for as long as they need, quite frankly. Whew. Yeah, I try to. So yeah, that's what I hope they focus on. I feel like I was talking quiet up until now. It just kind of dawned on me. Yeah, build variety is what I'm looking for in Wilds. Like, I really, really hope. Like, I want to be able to, like, swap between raw damage, create an element like nobody's business, you know? Like, I also like ailment builds to kind of be, like, a little more viable. Unfortunately, like, balancing ailments is a bit hard. Because if you have, like, someone paralyzing every 2 seconds, it's like, is that really a healthy playstyle? No, not really. But at the same time, do you want paralyzed to be kind of useless like it was in... I won't even say in just World, it wasn't that good in Sunbreak either. Or Rise, I mean. Well, Rise had a bunch of other issues, right? With a big issue with Rise is monster mounting. And, like, in base game Rise at least, hunters were incredibly fast and monsters weren't. So Sunbreak had alleviated a little bit, but yeah, still crazy. I'm definitely gonna stick with my guns and play Lance / Gun Lance. Although, you know, I was liking dual blades quite a bit, so, you know, maybe I'll dabble in dual blades, but Lance is my snag. Originally, I used to be a Gun Lance main in 4U, but I picked up Lance in World, and I kind of fell in love with it. I didn't play Monster Hunter Generations. I do have Monster Hunter Generations on my Switch, I just never really got into it. Because one, I couldn't afford it at the time. So that was a whole other can of worms. Well, because I didn't have a Switch at the time, because obviously it wasn't on the 3DS. But I did pick it up eventually, so one day maybe I'll go back and play it, but... Yeah, for you, Gunlance was my baby. Mostly because I was like new and I didn't really like know how to play, so I was like, oh, I'll pick the defensive weapon and this thing's got a gun on it. That's cool as hell. I'm 14 and this is sick, and it is. But I picked up Lance after seeing some people kind of tweet about it and like talk about it. I was like, wow, no one plays Lance. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta see what the dealio here is. Like, his Lance is great. I'm like, Gun Lance, this is just Gun Lance without the gun. And then I picked up Lance and it was just like, it's like the world became greener. The colors were prettier. The sky was warmer. The sun was kinder. It was a new dawn. Billions must try. So yeah, I'm a big Lance enjoyer. Yeah, I do hope that ailments become a little better. Like, I don't want Paralyzed to be useless. I'd like to be able to take Paralyzed, even if it's hard for me to get that second or third Paralyze off. I think it'd be better than Olympian Wilds, or Worlds, I mean. There's a funny build going around in Monster on the World, though, where it's Mushroom-mancer. And you take out Max Mushroom-mancer because you get a bunch of free value from mushrooms. So, like, normally you can have 2 max potions and an ancient potion. For a max of, like, just say 3 max potions for the sake of, like, explaining it. With Mushroom-mancer, you can have 10 because there's a mushroom that acts as a max potion. And the mushrooms are also like act as your buff potions, but you get way more of them, so you get way more value. It's crazy. So it is like a really funny build. Like stuff like that, I want to be more. I want like more like crazy builds to be viable, rather than just like, okay, this is only damage all the time. Like there was in base game world, like pre-Iceborne. There was I made a really fun Valhazak build where it was literally like permanent health regen. You had a bunch of HP and it would just permanently be regenerating. Like even past the red health. It was great. So I'd like more stuff like that to be viable. Wasn't there snipers? I assume they're dead. I'm going to assume that they're gone. Elimination protocol. Yeah, we have an Acel Psyker, the snipers are gone. Hello. He did not pick up a single ammo crate. That's crazy. Heal up real quick. Bum bum be dum bum be dum bum. This is gonna be interesting. Once again, I'm still a little confused on how the pack mechanic works in Wilds. Because, like, are every monster going to be in a pack, or only certain monsters going to be in a pack? I can't imagine Deviljho pack being a thing. So hopefully Deviljho's in that game. Deviljho's my favorite monster. I don't know, because they're like something like with Zinogre have packs. I mean, Zinogre's a wolf, but also he's like the lone wolf, you know? It's gonna be interesting. And like, are the shitty pack members also going to count as, like, are we going to have to hunt like shitty, like is there going to be quests where like, oh, hunt the alpha and then like 2 of the shitty ones, like yes boss. Like, do the shitty ones act as actual monsters, or are they like just buff chaff, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, it's going to be interesting. This isn't the first time we've had pack monsters in Monster Hunter. Obviously, any game that's had Great Jagras or Great Macau, or, well, Great Jagras is probably like the best example of that, because sorry, hiccups. He literally had a pack called Mechanic. Well, I think Great Baggy also had that, but any of the Great Aggies. I hope Great Jaggy's in Wilds. I don't think he will be, unfortunately. That's like my second favorite or third favorite monster or something. He's just goated. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. We know Korapekko's in the game. Now, if you don't know who Korapekko is, he was a bird, essentially like a bird, one of those birds that mimics the calls of other monsters. So in low rank, in 3U, which I think he was introduced in, I don't know if he's been in any other game since. He would summon the Great Jaggy, which was like, you know, kind of fine, kind of whatever. Great Jaggy was like shit, but we got it. But in high rank, he would summon a Devil Joe, which is like one of the scariest monsters in the franchise, being an invasion monster that does like a lot of fucking damage. So it was like quite a spooky sight. So Korapekko's in the game leads me to believe Devil Joe's in the game. And if Devil Joe isn't in Wilds, he's literally the perfect monster for this style of game of like, rather than like smaller contained maps, these big open world areas, like these endemic areas, you know, essentially like national parks that are maps. Because Devil Joe, honestly, if you don't know the lore, he's an invasion monster. So like he's called the World Eater because he goes from environment to environment, kills all the monsters in that area, and then moves on because he's like insatiable, like eating. Because he needs to eat because he's essentially a walking reactor. I somehow shoved that dog. I'm not gonna ask how. I'm just gonna count my chickens and be on my way.
Concluded as instructed.
Once we pick through that exit, we can start knocking on doors. You're done for now.
Yeah, I got launched.
Sniper's dead.
Terminating.
Ouch. Damn it. Boom, 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 boom. Can't go wrong with the Rippin. Yippee! Alright, that was a good game. I literally kind of just yapped about Monster Hunter the entire time, and then started off with some terrible tragedies. Then we yapped about Monster Hunter for like 20 minutes. So that's good. I got a heavy stumper out of it. Oh man, I got heartburn. Thank God I got Tums today. Alrighty, well, if you made this far in the video, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, or don't. I am not your mother, but you better brush your teeth. Now have a good one. Bye-bye.